Hi there. Our spiritual practice, or our God practice for today, is journaling. Ta-da! Now, I've encountered a number of people who might like the idea of journaling, but find it's too hard to sit still long enough to do it, or they don't know where to start, or they did a diary once and hated that, and so they don't want to try journaling. Today I'm hoping to change that. I think of this. So I have a number of students right now who are pen paling one another. They're writing old-fashioned paper pen, sending it in the mail to someone, and finding such richness out of it. And versus just picking up the phone, calling someone, getting what you want instantly. In text messaging, it's in your mind, you text it across, it's done. But when you're writing a letter, you can actually meander a bit. You can think about, oh, what did I really mean there? Or you can cross it out, you can go, there's just so much, like, your brain is allowing for more space for creativity when you are actually journaling. So think of it as that, versus email, which is impersonal to God. Letter writing to God is kind of what journaling is, writing letters to God. And it's different than a diary. A journal is not something, especially when you're doing it as a God practice, it's not something that you are just writing down kind of what happened in your day. By any means, that's not it. In this kind of journaling, you are addressing it to God. It is a written prayer to God. And so I encourage you let's start at the book. What kind of book you want. You might like to be organized in like lines. I like blank pages. So I tend to get like artist notebooks and things like that have blank pages in them. And then I will write, I'll use different colors sometimes, different color markers. Sometimes I'll write bigger or small depending on if I'm angry or excited. I write in cursive in my journaling, and that's the only place I really write in cursive. Everywhere else I write in print. And for me, it's this set apart space that my journaling is different than other things that I do. I often, and I would encourage you this, to start with a different name of God. You don't change it every day, but to change it up. So this morning I came up with the name Mountain Mover. I was going to say Mountain Creator. I'm at a place in the mountains right now. And I was going to say Mountain Creator. And I was like, but he's a mountain mover. He moves mountains. That is the God that I worship, both literally and figuratively. And so I started with that. And then I let myself ponder what that meant and what it looks like for God to move mountains. And then I went into the mindset of what mountains in my life right now am I seeking for him to move? And what is my role in that? So see the meandering, like my brain it allowed me to meander. Oftentimes I will journal scripture. So if you don't know where to start, the Psalms are a great place to start. They themselves are kind of a poem to God. And so to start reading a psalm, and then to have that in your mind, you can even reiterate some of those phrases. Sometimes I'll quote scripture and interact with it. Like, God, what does this really mean? Or what would it look like if you really were the God of justice for all people? What does that look like? So it's a space. The goal of journaling, I think, really is to expand your language with God and to deepen your intimacy with him. And journaling, or letter writing to God, if that's the way you want to think of it, allows for space for that. And so to get creative, to use different names for God, to interact with scripture. You could draw. Sometimes I remember in college once, that's when I started journaling, I drew a picture of a dead tree. That's the way I felt. And I said, God, I know there's life inside this tree. It looks dead. It's in the middle of winter, but I know you are bringing life, and I trust you'll bring life in me. But it was a sense of I resonated with that image, and so I drew it down. So I encourage you to get creative. Whatever sounds like a good place to start there. Start with one day a week. Start with every Sunday. Start with, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Whatever sounds like a good rhythm. You don't need to be like, I'm going to journal every day, and then you get like 3 days in and you fail and you feel like a failure and you never start again. So start with something tangible. I encourage you to interact with scripture, to ask God questions. You might not answer them right there. To write out ponderings, to write out prayers and answers to prayers. And then every once in a while, go back and reread what you've read. I think you'll be surprised at how you've grown, how you've seen God move and work, how something you were super concerned about months ago has disappeared. And so I think it's a neat way, too. You have record keeping of what you're asking God for, how your relationship with God is growing. And you can go back when you need to be encouraged and reread those things. So I encourage you to try it. I normally do 2 to 3 pages, but you could do as little or as much as you want. You can sit outside, you can sit inside, you can put music on, whatever is helpful for you. You could even like get up if you're like writer's block. You could even get up and kind of pace around and then keep writing. So there's no prescription of what it needs to look like. I think just do what feels like a good place to start for you, and that feels like an area where you need to grow in your intimacy with the Lord, and allow it to go there and see what happens. I have seen God be incredibly faithful through journaling, and it has just been a rich intimacy in my walk with the Lord over the last 20 years of my life that I'm super grateful for. Enjoy.